You've been reacting your entire life. Think that's freedom? Every single day you give yourself away, piece by piece, to people who don't even know they're taking it. You think you're responding. You think you're standing up for yourself. You think you're just being honest about how things make you feel. But here's what's actually happening. You're trapped, and the trap is invisible because you think the reaction is you. You've confused your reflexes with your identity. You've mistaken your triggers for your truth. Marcus Aurelius watched this destroy men who commanded armies, men who could conquer cities, but couldn't conquer the space between what happened to them and what they did about it. He saw emperors with all the power in the world, completely powerless. And he wrote one line that should terrify you. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Most people read that and nod, but they don't actually believe it, because if they did, their entire life would have to change. They'd have to admit that most of their suffering is self-inflicted, that the chaos they experience daily isn't happening to them. It's happening through them. Here's what you think the problem is. You think some people just push your buttons. You think certain situations just make you angry. You think if only your boss wasn't incompetent, if only your partner understood, you better, if only people would just do what they're supposed to do, then you'd be fine. You'd be calm. You'd be in control. The problem isn't you. The problem is out there. But that belief, that single belief, is what's destroying you. Because every time you react, you're announcing to the world exactly how to control you. You're handing over the remote control to your emotional state and letting other people press whatever buttons they want. And the worst part, you're doing it for free. No one's even trying that hard. By the end of this, you'll know exactly why your reactions aren't protecting you. They're imprisoning you. And you'll see the one shift that breaks the pattern forever. Damon Cross spent 15 years believing his anger made him dangerous. In the cage, in the ring, in every fight he trained for, he thought the fire in his chest was his weapon. Someone disrespected him? He reacted. Someone questioned his discipline? He reacted. Someone tried to get in his head before a fight. He reacted harder. And for a long time, it worked. Until the day it didn't. There was a fighter. Younger, hungry, technically not even in Damon's league. But this kid had something Damon didn't expect. Patience. The kind that comes from understanding something deeper. 3 rounds in, Damon was exhausted. Not from the fight, from himself. Every feint, every taunt, every little smirk from this kid. Damon responded. He chased. He swung harder. He wanted to prove something, and the kid just moved. Stayed light, stayed present, stayed free while Damon burned himself out. Damon lost that fight before he even stepped in the ring. He lost it the moment he let someone else decide what he would feel. Sitting in the locker room after, jaw tight, hands still shaking. He heard it. Not from his coach, from somewhere deeper. The best fighter is never angry. He'd read that years ago, something Marcus Aurelius wrote about combat. He thought it was philosophical nonsense. Warriors are supposed to be fierce, right? Supposed to meet aggression with aggression. But sitting there, replaying every wasted movement, every emotional swing, he finally understood. The anger didn't make him strong. It made him predictable. It made him controllable. It made him a puppet. And the strings weren't even hidden. He just never looked up to see who was pulling them. He started paying attention, not to the fights, to everything else. The coworker who always had a passive-aggressive comment during meetings, the driver who cut him off in traffic, the text message that landed wrong. Every single one was a test, and he failed most of them, because he thought responding meant he was standing his ground. He thought the reaction proved he wasn't weak, but Marcus's words kept coming back. sharper each time. Today, I escaped from anxiety. Or no, I discarded it because it was within me, in my own perceptions, not outside. The anxiety wasn't the traffic. It wasn't the coworker. It wasn't the disrespect. It was the belief that these things required his emotional energy. The belief that he had to react, or else he was letting people walk over him. That was the trap. Seneca saw it too. He wrote about men who lived like dogs on a chain, barking at everything that passed by, exhausting themselves, never realizing they're the ones who keep pulling the chain tight, wearing themselves down while the world just keeps moving past them, indifferent. Damon started practicing something different. Not suppression, not pretending he didn't feel things, but insertion. A space. One breath between the trigger and the response. In that space, a question. Is this mine to carry? Most of the time, it wasn't. The guy who cut him off? That guy's late for something, panicking about something, living in his own private chaos. It has nothing to do with Damon. The coworker's comment? That's about her need for validation, her insecurity, her pattern. None of it was his. But every time he reacted, he made it his. He picked up weight that didn't belong to him and carried it around all day, sometimes all week. It was volunteering for suffering he could simply decline. That shift, that tiny insertion of space, changed everything. Not because he became calm, but because he became free. Free from the puppet strings. Free from letting the worst parts of other people's days dictate the best parts of his. And that's when his real strength showed up. Not the reactive kind. The chosen kind. Here's what you do. Next time someone or something triggers you, and you feel that heat rising, that urge to respond, to defend, to correct, to prove, pause. Just 3 seconds. And ask yourself one question. Who's controlling me right now? If the answer is anyone other than you, don't move. Don't speak. Don't react. Reclaim the space. That pause is where your power lives. Not in the reaction. In the choice not to. In the deliberate decision to remain sovereign. The next step changes everything.